Alright, this is Animation Hour, or whatever I'm gonna call it. I guess Animation Hour number 2. This is Nightmare Comics 1. And, I decided to do this early because if I didn't, it probably wouldn't get done. But, for the first part of this video, I'm gonna be as calm as possible. I don't want this to just turn into a full out rant. So, I'm gonna try and hit this topic and just jump off this topic. Y'all know what I'm gonna start with. Um, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes has officially been canceled. And I don't know who to blame. I'm speculating on who to blame, but we don't know exactly who to blame. Now, I tell you what I believe, okay? This is Jeff Loeb, by the way. There was nothing wrong with this show. Like, I give you an example. Go on Metacritic.com or go on Amazon or go anywhere and just read like what people are saying about this show. You know what I mean? Some people say it's the best animated superhero television show since Justice League. You know what I mean? Some people are saying that. You know what I mean? Some people, I heard one person say it's better than Justice League. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I love that. I love the show. I love the show, but I don't know about that. But I heard a few people say that. People love this show. Like real shit. People love this show. It's also one of the highest rated shows on Disney XD. I mean, and this second season has been just as good as that first season, yo. Like they're still setting up things. Like I've been watching the leaks. Pretty much they're up to the Beta Ray Bill episode, and yes, Beta Ray Bill's in this series. They're up to the Beta Ray Bill episode on TV, but the leaks have been coming out on the internet just like last season. I mean, I've seen all the way up to episode 18. That's Yellow Jacket, and they did Yellow Jacket absolutely perfect, perfect. You know what I mean? And they're setting up other things. Like they just finished the Skrull invasion. It was actually done better in the show than it was in the actual comic books. So think about that. You know what I mean? I thought the use of Mockingbird as the Skrull Queen was perfect. Totally unexpected. Totally well written. The symbolism with Cap and the two Caps fighting each other. Where you had I wish he would have fought him like his human Cap though. That would have been awesome. Like, cause pretty much Skrull Captain was acting like Ultimate Captain America. Meanwhile, normal Captain America was pretty much normal 616 Captain America. It would have been cool if they would have fought each other as human counterparts, because people don't like Ultimate Cap because he's so different from the regular Cap, and that would have been just absolute perfect symbolism. And then they did the whole thing where in the picture I'm using, you see that picture, only one of those people in that picture are human. You know what I mean? It was just so well done. Like, you really, like, it was a lot of times it kept you guessing, like, is he a Skrull? Is she a Skrull? Blah blah blah. And Doctor Doom was hip to all of it. You know what I mean? And you'll see what I mean when you watch the show. But and they also setting up, there's a task force together. Winter Soldier showed up in this show. You know what I mean? Him and Cap hadn't had any interaction yet, but he showed up in this show. Um, the Red Skull's secret identity is actually showing up in this show. You got Red Hulk show, and the Red Hulk thing is already been done better than it was in the book. You know what I mean? In the books, you got Falcon showed up in this show, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they did a little mini Michael Korvac saga. You know what I mean? They did it in the show. The Surtur is going to be in, and they're setting that up, I think, for the end of the season, because they keep alluding to Ragnarok and things like that. The thing is this, okay? The thing about this show is that people say there's a lot of loose ends and stuff, but they usually tie themselves together. You know what I mean? At the end of season 1, almost everything got tied up except probably Bucky. You know what I mean? And season 1 left you with a cliffhanger. I'm praying to God that Yost was hip to the fact they might cancel this show, so he didn't leave us with something like that at the end of this season, because I'd be really pissed then. but yeah, they're canceling this show in favor of some new show called Avengers Assemble. Comes out in 2013. Has the movie cast along with Falcon. Now that leads me to believe that Falcon will probably show up in the movie universe, which I'm fine with. People like the character. I've never been the biggest fan of the character, but A lot of people like that character. Um, he probably be in Captain America too if he shows up, which I'm cool with as long as they get a good actor to play him. The voice actor that plays him on Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Hero is pretty good. I can't think of who dude is, but I heard that voice. Um, how do I feel about it? I hope it's good, to be honest with you, but there's no need to do this. There's absolutely no need to do this. They wanted to tie in the Ultimate Spider-Man, which I'll get to later in this video. I'll get to that show a little later in this video. But there's no need to do this, man. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes were damn near perfect. Damn near perfect, man. Why would they do this? I love that show. Like I don't understand. Jeff Loeb, I believe, did this shit because he had nothing to do with Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and he was like, "Oh, if I ain't got nothing to do with it, I don't want it around." That's why I think. That's why I really believe that's what happened. I really do. This is all Jeff Loeb. This is the 100% Jeff Loeb. It's not been confirmed, but this is just my conspiracy theory. But season 2 of Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Hero. Oh, I didn't bring up Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man showed up in the show, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was a nice little one-off story with Spider-Man and Cap. Because I don't want to ruin it, but you know, let's just say when the Skrull replaced Cap, he did a lot of things that Cap wouldn't necessarily do, and the people did not trust him. You know what I mean? Let's just put it like that. But you know, this show is awesome. You know what I mean? This is probably the best Black Panther has ever been handled. You know what I mean? Another character who I feel never got, a true rub in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? It's always been like, he's been like he's been so misused. It's kind of hard to care about him. You know what I mean? But he's a dope character. He's really dope in this show. You know what I mean? Hawkeye is funny in this show. You know what I mean? Always talking shit. The show is awesome. Miss Marvel has been awesome. Like, this show is awesome. You know what I mean? All the things that I've seen on my screen that I never expect, like Beta Ray Bill in a Saturday morning cartoon. Y'all don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, and done well. Steve Blum doing his voice is he's awesome. You know what I mean? The show is awesome, and I'm so mad. I'm so mad they're canceling it. When season 2, when I've seen all of season 2, I'll make a formal review of season 2. But that's just my quick thoughts on this show and them canceling it. I think it's the dumbest shit ever. Like I've already yelled and screamed enough. I probably won't scream anymore. But people love this show, and like I just keep reiterating that because it's true. Everybody that I know that watched the show has at least liked it. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, it's probably my favorite show on TV, to be honest with you. And I watch a lot, like, not lately, since I have a new lady in my life. We've been watching a lot of TV. You know what I mean? And well, not necessarily a lot of TV, but a lot of different shows. Like, I just watched Homeland, the entire season 1, which is an amazing show. She got me watching. We've been watching The Killing. It's tedious, but I feel like I like what they set up. You know what I mean? Not every episode is great. There's like a lot of average episodes, but like the great episodes are really great. You know what I mean? Like the one not this week, but the one last week, that was amazing. I liked it's a lot of different shows. I don't want to go through all the TV shows I like, but this is definitely my favorite. Like, and that's because I'm a comic book geek. You know what I mean? And the show speaks to the geek. You know what I mean? It speaks to all the geeks out there. You know what I mean? And I really don't want this new show. I want it to be good, but I really don't want it to be half-assed like Ultimate Spider-Man. I'll get to that though. I'm gonna talk about that in this video, but not quite yet. But yeah, that's my thoughts on them canceling Avengers. It's the dumbest shit ever. Yeah, moving on to the next show. Alright, now we got Avatar, The Legend of Korra. I'm gonna be honest. I just said Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes is my favorite show on TV. Legend of Korra is one of the best shows on TV. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely the best animated series, period, on TV. Like, if you never watched The Last Airbender, you're cheating yourself. The Last Airbender to me is the best like animated show since Batman animated series. You know what I mean? And you know what? In many ways, I would say it's on par with Batman animated series. Like the season 2 and 3 of that show, especially season 2. I think season 2 is amazing. I think season 3 is excellent, but I think season 2 is like almost perfection. Like I love that season. But this show is awesome. Like this show is definitely a worthy successor to the Last Airbender. Like it takes place, what is it, 40 years after, no, 70 years after, is it 40, yeah, 70 years after the Last Airbender, and Aang and Zuko have unified, the world. And it takes place in a Republic City, and the new Avatar named Korra, she's actually the opposite of Aang. Aang was the last air monk, and he can airbend with perfection. Well, she can fire bend, water bend. she can fire bend, water bend, and earth bend, but she can't air bend because, hold on, y'all, ear itch, because she's like too headstrong, and she's like, she's I want to blow stuff up type chick. You know what I mean? And god damn it, my ear itch. But yeah, like she's the I want to blow stuff up type chick, and she's just having trouble focusing so she can airbend. But Aang's son Tenzin is like, he's an airbender. He's been trying to teach her how to airbend. You know what I mean? Because the Avatar is needed. You know what I mean, to bring balance to the world, like Aang did. Well, Republic City is like the capital of the new world. You know what I mean? And she felt like, she wanted to be there because she's the Avatar. You know what I mean? She's gonna be, the savior of pretty much, the world. So she goes, she gets in trouble. You know what I mean? Her and Chief Beifong get into it. We find out Chief Beifong is actually Toph's daughter from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is cool. And she gets in trouble or whatever, and then they tell her to leave, but then Tenzin, then she convinces Tenzin that yeah, she should be in Republic City. He lets her stay at the Air Temple in Republic City, and it's pretty much her getting into adventures in Republic City. She makes some friends. She starts professional bending, which is like a sport where benders challenge each other and things like that. You know what I mean? Then we have Amon, who I think is the star of this show. Like, if you watch The Last Airbender, Fire Lord Ozai was your typical, I want to be extremely powerful. I want to rule the world. Amon's agenda is a little bit different. Amon is a person who is a non-bender, he claims to be a non-bender, and he wants to get rid of all the benders in Republic City. Him and his group called the Equalists think that pretty much they say benders are oppressing them. You know what I mean? And they want to get rid of them. And Amon's the leader of this group. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to say it right now. Even though season 1 ain't even over, I'm going to say it right now. Amon is 100 times better a villain than Fire Lord Ozai and Azula combined. Like, Amon is amazing. Like I'm telling, Amon is the star. The mystery behind Amon is the thing that really has me into this show, especially after what happened on Saturday. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and ruin this because this was awesome. If you want to watch this show, cut off this video because I want to talk about this because this was so awesome. Pretty much, Korra got into it with pretty much. Okay, this is what happened. Korra's team got to the championship of the pro bending league they were in or whatever. They lost the match, but after the match was over, Amon's Equalist attacked, and Amon has the ability where he can take away people's bending, like period. And he did that to the championship team, hung banners around the arena of the Equalist logo, and he got and blew up the ring and got the fuck out of there. It was like some NWO shit. You got to see it. And then it's one of the best fight scenes I ever seen in an animated show. Period. Maybe one of the best I ever seen. Period. When Amon's leaving and Beifong and Korra are trying to stop him. It's like one of the best choreographed fight scenes I've ever seen in my life. And Amon's, he makes it back to his ship or whatever, and he floats away, and then that's when Beifong and Korra kind of get on the same page, and then Tarlok, who is a councilman, he uses this kind of as like a like a reason why like Bayfong shouldn't be the chief of police because of what Amon did, and then he gets assigned to be the chief of police because Bayfong steps down because she says she needs to do this on the street level so she can really do what she wants to find Amon and bring him to justice or whatever. And then Tarlok takes over, and Tarlok assigns a new guy, and pretty much he's like behind he assigns a new guy to be the chief of police. He convinces Korra to join his task force, but then Amon's a little too aggressive, with his methods or whatever. And then he ends up arresting Korra's friends, Bolin, Mako, and Mako's girlfriend. And there's a weird storyline with Mako and Korra. I ain't gonna get into that, but y'all just need to watch the show. And Mako's girlfriend, and Korra gets mad. She storms Bayfong's office. I mean, not Bayfong. Tarlok's office late at night, and then and I'm not even gonna get into mystery with Tarlok. I'm gonna give y'all a reason to watch this show, but they fight each other or whatever. Tarlok ends up winning, and he puts Korra in like this iron thing, and drives out of Republic City. Now, as people find out the truth about Tarlok, I'm not gonna ruin, but Amon comes, which may ruin something for y'all. If y'all thought Tarlok was Amon, which I did for like a split second, and then I thought something else, but now I'm not so sure. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I thought. But then Amon comes and he fights and he fights Tarlok. Now Tarlok does this special ability, which I'm not gonna ruin if you've seen The Last Airbender, and it has no effect at all on Amon. Now maybe it's like a slight effect. It slows him down for a second. And it's the most mind-blowing thing. Like if you watch The Last Airbender and you watch this, and then not even if you watch, like, you don't really need to watch The Last Airbender to enjoy this show. But if you watch The Last Airbender and then you see this, it's ridiculous. Like I can't even. It's like mind-blowing. Like when I saw that, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was sitting there just like in a trance, looking. I couldn't believe what I had just saw. You know what I mean? And then Amon ends up taking away Tarlok's bending, and then Amon and Korra face off. Amon gets away, and then Korra reunites with her friends, and that's where we leave off with the series. There's one episode left before the season finale that comes on Saturday, and then the week after that is the season finale. It's a 2-hour event, which I can't wait for. I hope we find out something about Amon then, because I'm telling you, Amon is. If this keeps going, and Amon is as awesome as he is right now, he could become an iconic villain for this generation. You know what I mean? Like, think about the Cobra Commander in the 80s and Megatron in the 80s, and even Megatron and Beast Wars in the 90s, and think about who's some other, like Frieza and Dragon Ball Z and stuff. He could become that type of dude. Like, I'm being dead serious right now. He could become that type of dude if they keep this up. You know what I mean? He's that amazing. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Not even joking. He's that amazing. Like, y'all need to watch this show. That's all I'm saying. If you're not watching this show and you watching this video and you care anything about any of the shows I'm about to mention, and you're not watching this show, kill yourself. Next we got Thundercats. And, I was really into this show. You know what I mean? I still like it. You know what I mean? I was really into this show. I think it's kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, like, it was like doing some really cool stuff, telling some really interesting stories. I think lately, it's kind of been like one and done type things. You know what I mean? Which I'm fine with. I think now it's at the season finale. You know what I mean? Like the episode before the last episode came on Saturday. I thought it was actually a really good episode. Kind of curious about the different stones and things like that, and and different things like it's still a solid show. You know what I mean? I still prefer it to the original because I don't even like the original. But and then it has nothing to do with. Let me talk about this real quick. Okay, certain people. There's 3 people that accuse me of this. Accuse me of being a prisoner of the moment, if you will. Like, I don't appreciate the like some of the earlier, like people say I don't appreciate old school comics or old school like animated shows and shit. Let me explain something to you, alright? When I was a kid, here's the thing. When I was a kid, I loved, pretty much everything I saw. When I was a kid, I mean, well, I ain't gonna say that, but when I was a kid, I liked certain things. I am older now, you know what I mean? Like, when you're older, you look at things differently. Take off the nostalgia shades, people. It's simple as that. Like, I'm not saying that everything that came out before, like some of my favorite comic books are old, old comic books. You know what I mean? The debut of Ra's al Ghul, I think is like the second best debut. Bane to me is the best debut a villain ever had, but like it's the second best debut ever. You know what I mean? And Ra's al Ghul debuted in the '70s. You know, Watchmen is one of the best graphic novels of all time. You know what I mean? If it's great, it's great. But if it's not, and it just came out back in the day, you know what I mean? That don't mean it's still great. You know what I mean? That don't mean it's great just because it came out when you were young. Yeah, that's stupid. Like, I think that people like, you said Wolverine the X-Men is better than the X-Men the anime. It's because it is. The writing was better. The season, like they like the writing was way better. The way the characters were used were way better. Well, I ain't gonna say way better. I probably give that to the original. But the writing is way better on Wolverine the X-Men. Like, and let's not even get on the animation because that wouldn't be fair. You know what I mean? But it's better. I can't put Wolverine the X-Men ahead of X-Men if you see my top 10 list because X-Men is an iconic show. You know what I mean? It meant a lot. You know what I mean? It meant a lot to that generation. What's the name? X-Men #1. Jim Lee's art and Chris Claremont on the writing, one of the top selling comics of all time, and this show is like it's like a direct carbon copy of that comic. You know what I mean? It's an iconic show. The theme, everyone knows that theme. You know what I mean? I couldn't put Wolverine the X-Men ahead of it, but I think it's a better show. You know what I mean? Come on. Spider-Man animated series I wouldn't even call good anymore. You know what I mean? It's another iconic show though. Well, I ain't gonna say I wouldn't call it good, but it's still good. But Spectacular Spider-Man was better. It was better. It just is. It is better. It is indeed better than that show. I'm sorry. I apologize. That it's a better show. That's nothing. I grew up in that era too. You know what I mean? Beast Wars is the best Transformers series of all time, and I'm not just saying that because that's the era I grew up in. I'm saying that because it's true. You know what I'm saying? So y'all need to all y'all with y'all nostalgia goggles on. That's like people, and I'm a pro wrestling fan, but that's like these people that grew up in the '90s that say the Attitude Era is the greatest era in pro wrestling history. You know what I mean? It's that type shit. You know what I mean? I look at things objectively. I don't look at things because it's because that's what I grew up with. Like, like people say that, I could be on this all day, but y'all need to take off y'all nostalgia shades and actually look at shit objectively. You know what I mean? If you look at Thundercats objectively, it's better than the original in almost every way. But anyway, I ain't gonna get into that. I still like this show, like I was saying about Thundercats. Still like this show. I just started slowed down a little bit. I did like the episode on Saturday though, and I'm anxious to see what they do for the finale. Next we got Young Justice, and this show is marvelous. This show is absolutely marvelous. Like, that episode on Saturday, which I'm about to ruin, so if you want to watch it, you might as well cut this off. But that episode on Saturday was awesome. Like, the things that they've set up since this new season have started. Like, we finally found out what Vandal Savage had the Justice League doing, which I'm not gonna ruin that. But that's crazy. Like that, I like Vandal Savage as a villain in the books, but I feel like that Justice League Unlimited and this show have really, honestly, they handle him better than he's ever been handled in the books. You know what I mean? I like him in the books, but I absolutely love him on this show. Like that plan was awesome. And then what Speedy was used for, who we thought was Speedy was used for was amazing. Like that. Some of the plot lines are Peter David's been writing a lot of these episodes, so that should give you an idea of what type of stories we've been getting. But this show is absolutely incredible. Like, some people say it's better than Avengers or it's Mightiest Hero. I don't know if I go that far. I'll say this: I like them both for different reasons. Let's put it like this: when Young Justice first started, I didn't really like it. You know what I mean? When Avengers first started, I loved it. So think about that. You know what I mean? But like, they like Young Justice really kicked it up a notch. But let me explain. They did this thing with Aqualad where if the Aqualad they used in the show is pretty much similar to the one they used in Brightest Day, where it was the black kid. He grew up in the surface world, but he's really he's really part Atlantean, and his dad was really the Black Manta. You know what I mean? They did this on here, except in Brightest Day he shunned his father. In this he embraced his father. You know what I mean? He was a bad guy. Or so we thought until Saturday. See, Artemis, who is Arrowette, whatever you want to call her, she was a part of the team during season 1. In season 2, her and Wally West, they got together, they started dating, they moved in together, went to school, and they both left the team. They did this thing where Artemis came back for a mission, and then they faked Artemis's death, and then we found out that Black Manta, well, not Black Manta, we found out that Aqualad is still with the team. He's just undercover with Black Manta. Now, I know that sounds cliche as hell, and I know I just ruined it if you're watching this video, and I told you I'm about to spoil it, but the way it is handled, it is very unexpected. Like, did not expect it. Like, if you didn't know, like if you still watching, and like I didn't just tell you that, it would totally shock you. Like, if you saw it, it would totally shock. I did not expect that at all, because Cowder did a good job of playing the bad guy. He did a amazing job playing the bad guy. But in the season 2, Dick Grayson is Nightwing now. Batgirl's in the show. Wonder Girl's in the show. Connor and McGann broke up. McGann is dating Lagoon Boy. But Wonder Girl's in the show, so don't feel too bad for Connor. If you read the books, if you read the comics, don't feel too bad for Superboy. He gonna get his piece of ass. Don't worry about it. but yeah, I love this show. I didn't like it at first, but it's really, really great. I won't even lie. It's really great. All right, the next we got Green Lantern the animated series. Season just ended 2 weeks ago. Another great show. Great show. It's a lot of things they do in this show that I never expected. You know what I mean? Like a Green Lantern series where the Red Lanterns were the antagonists. I really didn't expect that. Atrocitus was done so well in this show. Homeboy that does his voice, he also does Kang the Conqueror on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and a few other voices. I forget his name, but he does a great job as Atrocitus. Great performance. Only problem with this show is that you really don't see Atrocitus that much. I think he only appears in like 4 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes. It works though. It works. You know what I mean? I like what they did with Razor. How like he's a Red Lantern that wants to do the right thing, but the only way he can keep his power is being angry. You know what I mean? And it's cool. You know what I mean? Saint Walker's in this show. Sorry if I ruined that. I ain't gonna ruin what they do with him though, but it's cool. You know what I mean? The season finale opened the door for season 2, cause I ain't gonna ruin it, but it left the door open for season 2. It left the door wide open for season 2, to be honest. I dig this show. I truly, truly dig this show. I think it's it's everything as a green. If you're reading the current books, you know what I mean, it's everything you would want and more. You know what I mean? Minus Sinestro, and I hope we get Sinestro in season 2. I really do. But they even hinted at Sinestro a few times in the series, or the Sinestro Corps. But this is definitely worth checking out. I love the animation. I didn't like how it looked at first, like when I saw like pictures and stuff like that. But seeing it in motion, man, it's actually it reminds me of the Incredibles. You know what I mean, I liked it. I like this show a lot. All right, Ultimate Spider-Man. It sucks. Like, it started out, I thought the first 2 episodes were funny. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was like, you know what? I don't see why everybody hates this. I hate this now. Like, since the first 2 episodes, I've only liked 1 episode. I mean, that was the Thor episode, because they did Frog of Thunder, and that was hilarious. But it's not funny. It's like Family Guy when Family Guy is at its absolute worst. You know what I mean? It's like imagine Imagine all the like the really bad episodes of Family Guy with Spider-Man. It's like that. I mean, it tries too hard to be funny, and the jokes aren't even that. The jokes aren't even that. They aren't really, they aren't really jokes anymore. You know what I mean? And sometimes I chuckle here and there, but for a show that relies so heavily on comedy, you're supposed to be dying. You know what I mean? Or you're supposed to at least be not even if you're dying laughing, you at least be supposed to be able to acknowledge that. Oh, hey, that's kind of clever. You know what I mean? But no, no, not this. Not this. It's not very good at all. The animation is cool. You know what I mean? I don't like the fact that he's on a team because it's called Ultimate Spider-Man. And I love Luke Cage. Every time I see Luke Cage, I'm cool with that. And he's on season 2 of Avengers, by the way, which is awesome. But this show is not very good, and I hate that the new Avengers show is supposed to tie into this, because if we get something like this with the Avengers, I'm gonna be thoroughly pissed. But yeah, I really don't like the show. I'm gonna be honest, really don't like it. I thought it was gonna be better. First 2 episodes I actually did really like, but I don't like this show, and I'm not even gonna act like I do. Sorry. For all the people who say I just like new stuff, that's a middle finger, because I don't like this show, so fuck you. Transformers Prime. That's the next one. I like the way this season started. You know what I mean? And every episode's been solid until the one right before the break in the season. That was awesome. Is Bulkhead dead, yo? I don't know. I don't know. But it'd be sad, and no one's told Miko yet, who I still don't like. But I like the relationship she has with Bulkhead, and if he's dead, that's really sad. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like when the episode before, when he just fell through the ground bridge and ended up in the base, and he was like on fire. Well, he wasn't on fire, but smoke was coming out on him. His eyes weren't open. I was like, dude, what the hell happened? You know what I mean? And then the episode went off, and then they showed what happened. Man, I'm actually worried about him. See, that's how you care. I care about Bulkhead, man. I like him. Megatron's still awesome. I like what they're doing with the whole chase for the relics, things like that. Really, still really good show. Ain't really hit its stride like season 1 did yet, but season 1 really hit its stride toward the end. So I expect the same thing with this. I love Dreadwing on here. I just found out Candyman does his voice. That's funny. All in all, man, great show. They're still really good. Tron Uprising is the next one. Awesome. Like, I've seen the first 2 episodes. The third one I know is online, but this show is great. If you watch Tron, if you're a fan of that movie, the original, the second one is alright, but the original, yeah, I mean, this show is a better is I would say a better sequel than that movie, Tron Legacy. But pretty much the story behind it is that you got dude who created the grid. I forget his name right now. Tron and Clue, they were all friends. Clue betrayed them, killed Tron, and pretty much. And then years later, Clue pretty much he controls the grid, and Tron Tron is supposed to be dead, but this guy named Beck, he dresses up as Tron, and I think he destroyed a statue or something like that, and then as he's getting away, he's captured and he's interrogated, and he tells the guy that captured him everything that happened and things like that, and then we find out the guy is Tron. You know what I mean? And Tron wants to train him to be the next Tron, so they can take back the grid, and bring balance to everything. I love the show so far, man. I love the animation. I love the mix of the 2D and 3D, and I like the way the light cycles look. I love looking at the show, and I like the story. You know what I mean? I really got high hopes for it. You know what I mean? I thought the first 2 episodes were really good. I'm gonna keep watching. All right, the next is like kind of a late review, but it's a show I've been watching the past few days because I hadn't been feeling well, and I just been laying in the bed watching it. But G.I. Joe Renegades, it's on Netflix. The entire season 1 is on Netflix. It's probably the only season we're gonna get, which is kind of sad because I really like the show. I think it's solid. Like, I never really got into G.I. Joe. like as a kid. Never got into it. The only other GI Joe thing I saw besides that god awful movie is GI Joe Resolute, which is awesome. You know what I mean? And I watched, and now I'm watching the original series, you know, and I like that too. You know what I mean? I actually like that better than Transformers G1 because I actually don't like that show anymore. But well, I ain't gonna say I don't like it, but it is dated. Like, I mean, it has not aged well. I feel like GI Joe has aged a lot better than that show. Like, if you see it, you know what I'm talking about. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm not. Um, season one is solid though, man. They did some interesting things with Snake Eyes and Scarlet, Storm Shadows in the show, as you would expect. Cobra Commander's pretty awesome in this. Uh, I don't like the look of Destro. I don't like his mask and all that. I don't. But I don't really like the animation as a whole. You know what I mean? It's adequate. You know what I mean? It's not bad. But fight scenes, some of them are choreographed really well. But it's a cool show. I hate that they set up a lot of things in that last episode, and it's kind of sad we ain't getting a season 2. But shit happens. But yeah, that's it. That's everything I wanted to cover. Can't believe they're canceling Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Y'all need to watch The Legend of Korra. This is a quick rundown. Thundercats is solid. Young Justice is amazing. Green Lantern is great. Ultimate Spider-Man is awful. The Transformers Prime it's still really good. Ain't hit a stride yet, but it will. Tron Uprising started off really, really well. And G.I. Joe Renegades, good show. Wish we got a season 2. Alright, y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Don't know when, but this has been a long-ass video. It'll go up sometime today. I don't know when, but it'll go up. Alright, y'all. Peace out. Oh, real fast, y'all. I didn't even talk about why that was even significant, that a mind could take away people's bending. It was thought that only the Avatar could do that. And Korra is supposed to be the Avatar, not a mind. So how is he able to take away people's bending? I'm gonna leave y'all with that, Jim. Now I'm gone.